Hey Internet, it's Jessie again, and today I'm talking about trans masculinity and feminism. I got an ask on Tumblr a while ago from an anon saying that they think they're agender, but they have a lot of internalized hatred for men because of oppression and other things, and they were wondering how to overcome that hatred so that they can let themselves be more masculine. I responded to them on Tumblr, but I also thought that I'd make a video about it just because I thought that this is an interesting subject and it's a kind of difficult one to tackle. When I was a kid, I really liked breaking stereotypes, and I really liked the term tomboy because it meant that I was a girl that could do boy things, and that I was proving that women could do anything that men could do. I still like proving stereotypes wrong today, and I still have trouble accepting the fact that biology makes certain people better at certain tasks than others. I understand it, but it's hard for me to accept because I like to think that everybody is equal. And so the idea that some people are just inherently better at things than other people is hard. I was always a feminist since I was young. I always thought that everybody should be equal. So when I realized that men had more privilege in society than women, it upset me a lot. And when I realized that I wanted to be male, or at least partially male, it was pretty hard to swallow. Because part of me felt like I had an obligation to stay a woman so that I could prove that women can do things that men could do, because stereotypically I wasn't what women were. I dressed more like a guy, I played sports, I liked video games, and of course all of these things are things that women do and can do and are totally free to do. But it is somewhat of a stereotype that they don't do these things. So to me, when I was first learning that I was trans, I was like, I can't do this. I can't abandon women. I have to stay a woman and just show that women can be these things. And part of me also thought that maybe I just was a woman who did those things. But as time went by, I realized that I couldn't be true to myself and stay a woman, and that my true self was masculine. And so then I had to start thinking about, well, how can I want to be a man and still claim to be a feminist? So how did I deal with this? Basically, what I like to do is I like to separate the idea of masculinity and men from the idea of oppression and privilege. And what's even more important to recognize is that the connection between the two is a correlation and not a causation. And what I mean by this is that just because someone is male or masculine doesn't mean that they have all of the privilege or that they are going to be oppressing people. It doesn't mean that they're a terrible person. In general, men do have privilege, and some men take advantage of that privilege to oppress others. But, and what I'm going to say here is kind of stupid, but in the context of this it fits. Not all men are like that. Some men are feminists. This is important. Men can be feminists. It's okay. Not all men are oppressive, not all men are terrible, and it's important to recognize that fact, especially if you're realizing that you're trans and you were identified as female at birth, because it can be really hard to accept the fact that you want to be someone who is privileged in society, and it's confusing and it makes you feel like you're abandoning women and you're abandoning the feminist cause, but that's not true. You can still be masculine and you can still be male and you can still support the feminist agenda. I don't want to say feminist agenda because that makes it sound crazy. You can still support feminism. Feminism is simply the idea that all genders are equal. You can be any gender or no gender and still believe in feminism. The one part that I am not sure of with this whole masculinity and feminism thing is my role in feminism. When I was first transitioning, I thought, well, if I don't identify as a woman, then I need to take a step back. I need to be the supporter of feminism and not a voice of feminism. But lately I've been starting to question that, because in reality, all genders but the stereotypical male are oppressed by this idea of gender inequality, and feminism supports the idea that all genders are equal. So shouldn't all genders be involved in fighting for equality? I'm not really sure. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. If you think I'm crazy, if you think what I've said is somewhat right, let me know in the comments and let's start a discussion, because I'm really interested in this topic and I think it's an important one to have. Other than that, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you around.